Retroid Pocket 5 was my favorite handheld for a long time. It did everything that I wanted from a handheld without costing too much. And then Retroid Pocket 6 came in, improved everything that Pocket 5 did right, and this should have replaced my Pocket 5. But due to various reasons, it's pretty easy to get pulled toward the next big retro handheld, the Ayn Odin 3. It has more power, better specs, and fewer long-term compromises, but it's also expensive and physically larger than the Pocket 6. So which one should you get? The Retroid Pocket 6 used to be an easy recommendation. It was cheaper and simpler to set up. That part hasn't changed. You still get that clean, plug-and-play experience. You turn it on, install your apps, and most PS2 or GameCube games run without you fighting the settings. But now that the 12GB version has been discontinued before most people even got their hands on it, you're basically looking at the 8GB model, and then it's slightly more expensive than before. That changes the value a bit. It's still good, but that low RAM may change the use case. It may be harder to run some heavy Switch games, and most Windows emulation is now out of the question. Well, some of the lighter games are still playable, and if a AAA game is optimized, it will also run on low settings. But it will feel limiting very quickly. That's when you may want to grab Ayn Odin 3 because it's way more powerful. That Snapdragon 8 Elite chip is on a different level compared to what Retroid is using. You feel that when you push the device. Android games look better, PC emulation through GameHub runs smoother, and if you are even running lighter Windows games, most of the time you don't have to worry too much about settings. You still have to tweak things on heavier games. Some emulators may not behave properly because of the infancy of turnip drivers. But still, Odin 3 is in a way better position than Retroid Pocket 6. Even so, if you just want to play games without thinking too much, the Retroid Pocket 6 still makes more sense. It's smaller, cheaper, and it does PS2 and GameCube almost perfectly. For most people, that's enough. Switch games will also run fine, but you may have to tweak a bit. And smaller indie Windows games will also be okay. But if you're thinking long-term, the Odin 3 starts to look better. The screen is bigger and brighter. The battery lasts longer. And more importantly, the performance gap is real. Once software catches up, this thing is going to age much better than the Pocket 6. And above all, you will have bigger headroom for future emulations like PS3 and Xbox. So anyway, if your goal is simple, play up to PS2 comfortably, maybe try some Switch, and even mess around with very light Windows games with a bit of trial and error, the Retroid Pocket 6 is still good for those things. It's a bummer that the 12GB model is gone, but even the current version holds up well for what most people need. But if you're okay spending more for the peak performance while future-proofing your device, then the Ayn Odin 3 is the one to look at. Just keep one thing in mind. The price is starting to get really close to something like a used Steam Deck or Legion Go S, and at that point, you may consider a bigger device with more headroom.